We recently sold our little starter home in the neighborhood and moved our family of 5 to our forever home and property. We love this place so much, and it has been so fun over the last 6 months to renovate this late 90s, early 2000s builder grade fixer-upper. We've tackled small refreshes, organization projects, as well as bigger tasks. The biggest of all being this previously flooded kitchen that needed a bit more than just some TLC. In the first episode of our kitchen remodel, we shared the big stuff, completely gutting and stripping down the space to the bare bones and subfloor, the mold drama, getting our new cabinets and flooring installed, as well as a big unexpected change we made along the way. It's been a bit of a roller coaster and it's not over yet, so buckle up. In this video, we're sharing the final touches and last few projects we have to complete this space and take the next step on the journey of taking this place from house to home. And the kitchen saga continues. Hello, welcome back. I am so excited to be picking up our kitchen remodel project again, to put our finishing touches and to complete this huge undertaking. I have a list here of the things that we're gonna be working on to finish this project, so I'm gonna rattle this off to you so you get some idea of what we're working on. We've got countertops, backsplash, under cabinet lights, glass doors for the open cabinet. We have a couple of replacement cabinets that need to come in. We're gonna be doing the toe kicks and crown molding to finish that project off, a sheetrock patch and repair and like texture and paint project that we need to do. We need to construct a vent tube cover box, which I'll explain to you later. And then of course, the fun part, which is the hardware. Stay tuned for all of that. This is in no particular order, except for the first thing, which is the countertops. And that is what today is all about. We're getting our countertops today, and this is the main thing that is here earlier than expected. We're literally getting our countertops in 3 weeks earlier than we were originally told, which is huge. And boy, as grateful as I am for this kitchen, these particle board countertops that we've had here temporarily are the bane of my existence. I cannot wait to say goodbye to these. I will say, I'm gonna miss the sweet little love heart that Weston drew me. I am so excited to take these off, get them out of the way. I cleared everything else off of the counters that we had on it. The countertops being installed today, the people for that are gonna show up within the next couple of hours, and I'll show you that process. But other than that, it's up to us to get this done. So let's start with today and get some countertops on. Okay, so I got everything wiped down. I did a little bit of sanitizing too, because I don't want anything like growing on the top of these underneath. That might have been extra, I don't know. And I came over here and I saw the notes that I took right here for the measurements. We were calculating square footage for the backsplash that we're gonna do, which I'll share that, of course, with you in this video. I'm really excited actually about something that I found for the backsplash. So I'm gonna keep erasing that and wiping it off, but I am going to write something very special on some of the tops of these cabinets. So I've been looking up scripture to actually write on this, just to do something special. It helps us focus on what matters the most, and it's a nice little reminder for me to know that it's like under there, even though you can't see it. I actually did that at the entry of our house on the subfloor before our new flooring went in, and it's just a really special thing to do, kind of like a way to bless the space. And so I have a few different scripture that I want to write in various places. Over here, I'm gonna do 1 Corinthians 16:14. Let all that you do be done in love.
To our Redeemer who is always near, we sing holy, holy, holy. Praise you, Lord Almighty. Holy, holy, holy.
They showed up mid scripture writing, so we're about to get these in. Yay! They brought in this mat to protect our floor and Haley's pretending it's the red carpet. Strut your stuff. Oh yeah, oh yeah, there you go. I just got the first glimpse of the countertop. They took it out of the truck. I've been nervous about this because I haven't actually been able to see like a bigger sample of it. I only had a small and it was kind of a leap of faith. And I love it. I cannot wait to see it installed, oh my gosh. Here it comes, oh my goodness. Yay, countertops are in, and they are more beautiful than I had envisioned. They are so gorgeous. I love how these aren't like stark white, but they're definitely like a white countertop. The veining in them is so pretty. It's not too like gaudy and dramatic, but it's definitely elegant. Like I love how this turned out, and I like the sort of semi-gloss finish on them. They're not like super high gloss. Feel like they're gonna be really easy to keep clean. Lifetime warranty on them, which is just amazing. I'll have all of the info as far as like the specific brand and color and everything in the description box for you guys. But so far I am loving this so much. I love this overhang. This is just, oh my gosh, it's all coming together. The step of putting countertops down, this was so satisfying. And now we can really get the ball rolling on some other stuff that we're gonna be doing in here. So when we pick up the project again, that's when I'll pick up the camera again, and we will continue to share more as we go. Welcome back. Apparently today is under cabinet lighting day. This is news to me. And I thought maybe I would bring you in on this dynamic. This is something you should know about Weston and me and like the difference between us. I am a meticulous planner, list maker. I have a method, and if I don't have a method, I spend time making lists about how I want to make a method. Oh. And as you can hear, as evidenced by Weston's gagging noises, he is probably as polar opposite to that as you can get. There are pros and cons to both methods and personalities, for sure. If you're working with me, you at least know things have really been like thought through, but if you're working with Weston, you know that things are going to get done. I really appreciate that about you, that you just like, you're just a go-getter, you get stuff done, you make it happen. Even if I'm like holding you back by having to write lists about what we need to get done.
Take your time. Let's not waste time, we'll take this slow. We got miles behind us, but miles to go. So let's just break this down to the simplest truth.
Hello. Hello there.
You and I as one will always be better than two.
So when we first walked through this house before we purchased it, we knew that one of the first changes we would like to make is to add more lighting in many different places, but especially here in the kitchen where there are actually no kitchen windows. There's a lot of natural light coming in around the kitchen, but in this corner where we have these perimeter cabinets, it can actually get quite dark. And so Weston had the great idea, and this was totally his brainchild, of getting these under cabinet lights in. And we went with the Philips Hue. They're called their shape lights because you can kind of like put them in different shapes. We just did them nice and straight underneath the cabinets, plugged them into the outlet that Weston installed in that hood vent. We hid some of the cording inside the cabinets and fished them out underneath. It was really easy to do, and it made a huge impact. I think the result is absolutely beautiful, and it has added so much light into this kitchen that's soft and classy. It's really just elevated the space, and we are so happy with it.
Be better than
You look like you're in a tanning bed. Okay, well that job is done, and I think it looks so good. We had to do a little bit of creative taping under here, but I think the effect is really nice. Weston can change the colors on his phone. Oh my, look at that. We'll keep it to the normal colors for everyday use, but that's still fun about the whole Philips Hue situation. And actually, I realized that the benefit of getting these lights in before we do the backsplash tile is that now we have better lighting to see what we're working with. So we're actually gonna jump in and start doing the tiling today. We didn't expect to do this, so we actually don't have all of our supplies and tools that we need. So we are gonna take a quick trip to the hardware store, get what we need. I'm actually gonna get myself ready for the day. And then when we come back, I'll show you our tile, what we picked out, and we will start that project. We are back from our Home Depot run. I think we got everything we went in for. Before we jump into this project, I wanted to quickly show you the tile and tell you a little story about this tile. So this is what we're going with. The tile is the thing that I agonized the most over. I wanted something that felt organic and kind of rustic. I didn't want something that looked too like perfect and factory made, but I also didn't want like straight up brick as the backsplash. And oh man, I looked at so many different choices, but I kept coming back to square tiles that look handmade. These are actually handmade. They're handmade in Spain, and they are, I think you pronounce it Zellage tiles. Ordered these from Tile Bar, which is a great place to find tile. They have a really good selection, and they just came in. We ordered a few boxes. We like calculated the square footage and everything. And I ordered enough from there, but then I was in Habitat for Humanity the other day making a donation of some of the stuff that we demoed out of the old kitchen, and look what I found. The exact same thing. It's literally the same thing. Exactly the same. The box of these is not all the way full, so I have a feeling that this was from another person's remodel project, and this was just like the extra that they had. Some of them are pretty imperfect and we'll probably skip over. Like they have this funny like manufacturing line down them, or something got damaged, so we won't be able to use all of these, but what we are able to use will definitely save us, and we won't have to crack into another box. That's my hope. We shall see. Have extra for what we need for this project, which is always a good idea when you're buying materials for anything, but I just cannot wait to see how these look on the wall. I wanted something that was pretty low contrast and not something that had too much pattern or pop to it, especially since we're really new to doing tile work. We've never done it before, and so I wanted it to be pretty forgiving. In between these tiles, like the edges are imperfect. They're not straight, they're handmade, which is the look that we're going for. So we're gonna start in on this. Start getting some of these tiles on the wall. We have a tile cutter. We got this thing here. It's like one of those snap tile cutters. We have the grout, we have the adhesive, we have the little tools and stuff. So wish us luck. We shall see how this turns out.
Friends think I'm a different kind, but there's nothing wrong with sharing my mind to everyone else. Everyone else, everyone else will think that it's weird.
We are doing a little bit of math for how many of our tiles are gonna fit here. And instead of staggering the seams between our tiles, we're actually gonna just do them like this, because I personally like that look better, and it's actually gonna make it easier for us to install them. So we figured that, 4 tiles go high, with like 3/4 of another one up here at the top. We have a perfect use for these thrifted tiles because we can kind of hide this line by snapping them at that spot and using them up at the very top.
Alright, we'll be alright for 2 or 3 days, but after all the conversations have died out, I'll play the music from the beginning, and then we all just see it again.
It was definitely a bit of a challenge for us to get into the groove of laying down this tile. Like I said, we've never done tile before, so everything was new to us. I had never even picked up one of these like grout spreader things before. So as with anything that's new, there's definitely a bit of a learning curve. And as you can see through this footage that's sped up through this process, we did a lot of pausing and regrouping and discussing and talking. We got onto our phones to look up ways to make it easier. And throughout this process, we just really tried to not let ourselves get bent out of shape when things get frustrating. We definitely had our moments, but we have learned this over the last many years of doing home renovation projects that you just have to have patience with yourself, and it always starts out slower and you'll get frustrated and you'll think, oh my gosh, this is gonna take forever. And then you start to learn it and it starts to get easier. You kind of get over that hump of the learning curve. You develop systems for yourself. So while Weston was laying some tile down, I was doing a lot of the measuring and drawing some lines so he knew where to cut for the next batch of tile. I will say that it was about 50-50. Weston did the first half of the tiling with some help from the kids, of course.
There you go, good job, you did it, good job.
It's fun for them to be able to see the tiles that they know they put on the wall, which is pretty special. But once they were in bed, then it was my turn. I had enough confidence with the practice that I had to tile the rest of the wall and to bring the tile up under this hood vent as sort of the backsplash behind the stove. And we wanted to get as much tile on the wall as possible, which is why I worked later into the night to get it done, to give as much of it time to set so that we could grout on the second tiling day.
Hello there.
Welcome to tile day 2. This is turning into a 2-day project. Well, because you, first of all, have to wait for the adhesive to dry before you can do grouting and stuff like that. But you want to share with them the issues that we ran into yesterday?
Well, we have a tile cutter, but it only cuts in straight lines. So if you want to make like little rectangulars or corners or stuff, you have to have
for outlets or
and stuff. You kind of have to have like a tile water saw. We should have just bought it the day of, yeah. But we learned, now you know. So now the next time you want to watch us do this, we'll know what we're doing.
And we discovered while we were going that these tiles that I found thrifted, the ones that were damaged, isn't really damaged. Weston started like rubbing that damaged part and realized that it's actually just a strip of glue. It's just a kind of a wavy line of dried glue, and you can literally just scratch it off. So these damaged tiles are 100% usable. And now we're hopefully gonna finish this up today. Mr. Spider just checking out his new territory. Kind of have a little box going on here of all of our scrap pieces and things that we've cut off. So hopefully we'll be able to use these and not have to cut off whole tiles just to make little pieces. The final tile, look at that. And with the laying of the final tile, we were ready to grout, which unfortunately, I lost most of the footage of that process, and I'm so sorry. It's actually really satisfying to watch the tiles that are individual on the wall with the gaps between them really sort of mesh together and look cohesive, and ultimately, it's the results that count, even though I am bummed that I don't get to share that process with you guys this time around. But we are so happy with how this turned out. This tile turned out so good. We are thrilled with the result. I am so proud of us that we DIY'd this because we saved
a ton of money on the installation. We also saved so much by that serendipitous find of that box of the exact tile from the Habitat for Humanity store. So I was able to return one of the boxes that we ordered, and then we have a box on hand for any tile that ends up chipping or breaking along the way, or if we want to put more tile in a spot. But right now we need to move forward. Today we are doing cabinet installation round 2. So if you remember from part 1 of our kitchen remodel, we, during the installation of the new cabinets, called an audible and changed our floor plan by knocking down the angled wall that was originally built here behind the fridge. But because we did that, the original cabinet that we ordered to go above the fridge is now the wrong size. We thought it over, we lived in the space for a little bit, we spoke with our friend Chris, who you may remember is our cabinet guy, and we all came to the consensus that we should just get a cabinet for above the fridge that's actually designed for the space. We have panels on either side of the fridge because we wanted a built-in look, and this gap above it, even if we put pretty baskets or something up there, it just kind of nullifies that. And then we are also replacing this cabinet beside the fridge. Let me show you. This cabinet right here was built with this extra width on the side because when this was at an angle, popcorn on the floor, look at that. We wanted this extra space to buffer how the door would open so that we wouldn't be running into that angled fridge. So the upper cabinet is the full 18-inch width, but this lower cabinet, the drawer and the door is only 15 inches with that 3-inch buffer. We thought, you know what, we're already making an order for what's going above the fridge. It would look better to have this be more symmetrical and not have this gap, this extra space here, which a lot of people probably wouldn't notice, but we've worked really hard to make this kitchen function for us. We might as well go the extra mile. Weston's at work today, but Chris is on his way to help us get this done. He's the real MVP of this kitchen situation. Instrumental in us being able to get this done, and we're so grateful. Weston was actually at his house the other week doing some electrical work for him. It's great to have community where you can trade and barter, and I think we're getting the better end of the deal though. I said that last time. So Chris is on his way. We're gonna get this kitchen cabinetry all finished up, and I can't wait to see once it's done with the new cabinets and the crown molding and the finishes and the toe kicks. That's gonna be so nice. We're taking cabinets out and finding all sorts of goodies. Look at that, we found a magnifying glass and all sorts of popcorn kernels and fishy crackers and who knows what else. So in typical do-it-yourself remodel fashion, we are experiencing an interruption with the installation of our new cabinets. We ran into a little issue with the one that goes above the fridge. It's a little bit too low. We're troubleshooting, and Chris is gonna be back to finish that up. But in the meantime, we are working on building a little, hi.
Hey, how are you?
Building a little box to go around the exposed top of the, what is that called? The vent tube. So it is date night for us. Sushi, and instead of sitting down and eating it together, we are going to eat and work in the kitchen. So we have some of these MDF boards that we cut to make a box to basically hide that vent before we get the trim on it. And we also have exposed sheetrock that needs to be textured and painted up there. It's actually probably good that we had this interruption with the cabinet situation, because it gives us a little bit of time to get this done. You go, Michael Scott. So the guys are back. This is probably the final day for cabinet stuff. We've run into little issues that we have to like go back to the hardware store for, and so it's kind of extended things and
God bless Chris and Brian for their help. But we just have one last piece of crown molding that they're putting up there. A couple of little detail things to fix in corners and stuff like that. And then I think we're done. This is the reality of home improvement projects, remodels with kids. Life goes on. You can't completely pause your life when you have big projects going on. So we're doing some homeschooling while the guys finish up the crown molding. It looks so good. I didn't realize just how much crown molding on the top of these cabinets would just really finish everything off. I can't wait to show you the finished product. Crown molding, and it feels like you're just like, it's the coronation of the kitchen. Okay, so I was just looking over that checklist that I shared with you at the beginning of the video, and we have two things left on it. The glass doors for that open cabinet, and then also the hardware, which I'm so excited about. So I'll share the details of the hardware with you guys in a bit. I have a few pieces right here, and I'm actually bringing them with me to Home Depot because I need to make sure that we get longer screws than what the hardware came with. Taking this door into a local place that makes custom glass for stuff like that. I shared in the last video, the part one of the kitchen remodel, that this is a cheaper route than if I went to the place that manufactured our cabinets to get the glass custom made, and this supports a local business, which is awesome. So I'm gonna go do that. Got the boys packed up here in the truck. We're headed to a couple of places to get this done, and then hopefully we will be able to wrap up this project. The end is in sight. I'm so excited. Welcome to the final day of our kitchen remodel. I can't even believe I'm saying that. It's the longest project ever. You ready to be done with this project?
Yes.
He's putting together this little tool that we have for getting the template of the cabinet hardware on, or as Weston calls it, what did you call it?
Jewelry day. Cabinet
jewelry, and we picked out some really pretty cabinet hardware. So Weston's gathering tools and supplies so we can get this cabinet hardware on, and I'm so excited about this. So I wanted to show you what we picked out for our cabinet hardware because it has been a journey for me. Weston doesn't really care too much about that cabinet hardware. He had one request, one stipulation, and that was we didn't do the bar style cabinet hardware with the bar that sticks out on the ends. We had that in our old house. We got some Amazon Basic ones, and oh my goodness, it looked good, but it really caught on our pants or anything just walking by. It would catch on so much, and it's a bit more modern of a look than we're going with anyway. So that was his stipulation, and for me, I wanted that pretty sort of champagne bronze finish. It's got this warm tone to it, but it's not your typical bright, chromy, brassy 80s and 90s, like really brassy finish. So our initial selection for the cabinet hardware was a mix of these knobs and these pulls. This is from the Amarok line, the Amarok brand. It's their Stature line, and I just thought that they were really pretty. I loved the finish. The price was at a good price point, and then after we got these cabinets in, and actually especially after we got the tile in, I feel like I'm just seeing a lot of lines. Like it's very straight and linear, which is what we were going for. We were going for a kitchen that was simple, straight lines, not too much embellishment and stuff going on, like with the shaker cabinets and trim and stuff like that. But now I'm feeling like I need to add a bit more curviness, softness, rounded edges to it, and these square knobs felt immediately a little bit too square. And I went on Pinterest, I started looking for some inspiration, and I just fell in love with classic round knobs. I feel like it's one of those things that just, it never goes out of style. It brings sort of that vintage element in. I want just a touch of that, I don't know, a little bit Anne of Green Gables, a little bit Victorian, just a little bit. And I found these from the, I think it's the Richelieu brand. Is that how you pronounce it? I could be pronouncing it wrong. But I got some of these for our lower cabinets to do that. And then this is just, there's a lot of like this line square. The base for these where they attach to the door is very squared off. And I need some more curves in my life. So I ended up going with these from the same Richelieu brand. And then through my Pinteresting and gathering of inspiration, I really love the look of cup poles. Those went totally out of style for a while, and we actually replaced cup poles in our bathroom when we did the remodel in there. And I like the choices we made in there, but I found these ones. These are from Amarok, and it's actually from the Stature line that this and the square knob is from. But these just beautiful, classy. They add more of that pop of brass in here because there's so much more surface area of the metallic. So for lower drawers, we're gonna be doing some of this. So we're gonna mix this. We have a couple of big lower drawers that we'll probably put these bigger handles on. I bought several different things so we can try different combinations. Another piece of hardware that I got, and these are actually vintage, are these, they call them desk latches. They are apparently from the 1950s. Someone had two of them that they took off of something from an old house, and I got them on eBay. They're a much more matte finish. They're bronze, real bronze, but they go along with, like, the color tone is very similar. I found some other ones, some other little vintage ones, but you see how yellow and brassy those are. These were at Habitat for Humanity, and I actually picked these up first. They were like 50 cents each, so I wanted to give it a shot, but I ended up finding these ones on eBay, and they're just beautiful. So these will actually go on these cabinets that are underneath the bar. I was looking for a solution to keep these cabinet doors like always closed, instead of being able to be kind of like kicked open by the kids or whoever is sitting here, and this just might work out. So we shall see. It feels a bit surreal to be in like the final steps of this project. We have literally been working on this project since we lived in our old house. And that feels like a different life ago. I mean, it's only been like 6 months or so, but it has been such a labor of love, and it's just amazing to see it all come together. It feels a little bit emotional to be putting these final touches on and to see this picture that we had in our mind here, like actually living here now. It's very special. So let's get this cabinet hardware on and complete this project.
Someday I'll find home, the picture in my mind, a place where I can go, and you'll be always mine, always mine. You're always mine. Ooh. I hold my breath, no give and take. I could never walk away. The giving ground, no back and forth. I promise you I'm always yours, and you're always mine. Ooh.
This space doesn't even feel like the same house, let alone the same kitchen. If you guys remember from part 1 where we started, that very cramped and chopped up builder grade late 90s, early 2000s kitchen that had so much water damage, all the mold that we found, the roller coaster of a project that this was, to where we are right now with something that is so us. And actually the people that we have had over as we have been working on this project, we actually recently had my mom and dad over right after we completed everything. And the comment that we keep getting is, this is so you guys, or Natalie, this kitchen is so you. And that just warms my heart so much, because we really wanted to put our own fingerprints on this place. And I really feel like we accomplished that. It is so beautiful. We just love the way it looks. But even more than that, we are loving the way it functions. I'm gonna give you a quick little tour and just highlight a few of my favorite spots in this kitchen and a few of my favorite details that I'm just absolutely loving. I just kind of wanted to give that final little, let's take a look around before we wrap up this project. So before we do that, let's take a look at these before and afters so we can see where we started, so that I can give you a look at where we've landed. Where do I even start? I love so much about this kitchen, and actually I would venture to say I love everything about this kitchen. The backsplash is the first thing that always catches my eye when I wake up in the morning. It actually changes color and tone and reflection and texture as the different lights throughout the day are on it. So the under cabinet lights, or if those are off, the lights coming in through the windows, depending on the time of the day. Just the way that some of these more reflective tiles will bounce that light into the room. It is just so gorgeous. And we've had so many compliments on this backsplash specifically. This cabinet hardware has been working so well. It is so nice to be able to actually have something to hold on to open up these cabinets. As you can see, we ended up going with knobs for this glass front cabinet, and I just love how it looks. And it's been fun to see the arrangement inside these doors change and flex as the weeks have gone on. This has really worked out well. I love the mix of styles for the cabinet hardware. I think that was a really good choice. Loving the cabinet hardware, these little antique or vintage latches that we got thrifted, keep the doors closed so that we can keep like our linens or our hosting supplies in here. We've got our bar stools set up now. I actually haven't shared these with you guys yet. They're from Target. They're from the Hearth and Hand line, just the really basic shaker bar stools, and they've been working great. We actually have a third one that we can set up if we need it. Nice to have these outlets here, which is code, so you know, we kind of had to, but it's been great to have Weston's abilities as an electrician to be able to help us save money there with all of the wiring that he did and the rewiring. If you guys remember that wall that we tore up, he completely rewired everything in here so that we could have multiple outlets and we could bring this house up to code for the kitchen. And oh my goodness, the countertops. We are so happy with them. They have been just a dream to work on, to clean up. I love this brownish sort of veining mixed in with the gray. It ties in the colors of the lighter cabinets, the darker cabinets, the flooring. And now that we have everything in here, those appliances that we got before we even remodeled the kitchen just go so well. I love how this fridge looks like it's built in. This upper cabinet with the drawer inside is working so well. In recent videos, before I actually shared the finished kitchen project, I shared organization of our pantry items in our island. I also shared organization of all of our dishes and bakeware and hostessware and all of the stuff that's in the cupboards. I have completely shown all of that in previous videos. So all of those will be linked in the description box for you guys if you want to check those out. But for now, this is what we've got going on, and I could not be more pleased. I wish Weston was here to say goodbye to this video with me, because this has very much been a we thing. I could not have done this without him. We could not have done this, of course, without Chris and Brian's help and expertise. And we are just so, so grateful for what we have been able to do along this journey. Weston is off to the next project right now, but he told me to say goodbye from him. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us through this project, through part 1 and now through part 2 as we put on those finishing touches. We have other places around this house and around this property that we are going to be transforming into our place as we take it from house to home or from house to homestead. So stay tuned for the next episodes in this series. Thanks so much for spending a little part of your day here with me on my channel, and I'll catch you later.
New story to tell, new sights, new scenes.